Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am, of course, Teacup or Justin Martin, and I have just gotten back from top 16 or top cutting the national event for the game of Universus, the game that we all love, at the Dallas event that we all loved as well. And while I am slightly disappointed that we didn't quite get as many of the Atlanta recaps, I always strive personally to do better and better next time. So we are back at it again with a Worlds recap series. Very exciting stuff. So we're going to be talking to all of the team members who are at Worlds, but at Nats. Already messed it up. Already not doing better, but it's okay.
Well,
like I said, I always strive. Shut up, Dean. God, no. I always strive to do better. And as part of doing better, we have a better host. I would like to introduce Dean, Pringlesman123. That's right. I am not hosting. We don't have to worry about me only getting through 3 and then not getting the 4th or 5th one out. Instead, these will be hosted by Dean, and I get to finally be a guest, which means I don't have to do anything at all. I don't even have to sit here and talk. Dean is going to be talking to you for 30 minutes about how awesome my top cut journey was.
Yep. I wasn't there. I don't know anything about his rounds in Swiss, but I'm just going to make it up.
Just make it up as you go along.
Yeah, so I guess starting to frame the central theme for your interview, your recap, we're going to be talking about the team and sort of the preparation leading up to the event. Okay. And I think sort of painting a picture of the story, how we got there is, that's a good place to start. So it's November 2024, right? AOT, Origins of Power just came out. Atlanta's already happened. We have an event that just happened, and we have mostly the format for Nationals. And we got 3 months before our Nationals. So I have to ask you, what is the team doing to prepare for Nats at this point? Over this course of time?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I guess I have to point out that it's kind of complicated, right? One of the things that we did that doesn't necessarily have to do with preparing for Nats was I really wanted to do the recap videos because Atlanta, both for me personally as a person and for the team, was our most successful and fun event ever. We've never had that many people at an event before. We've never had that much success at an event before. The closest we've gotten before is Rochester ROE in 2023. I believe we had 4 people top cut then as well. That ROE was 80 people. That ROE was not 160 some odd players like the Atlanta regional was. So I was very excited. I was very happy. And I can tell you right now, most of our teammates were fired up to hit the ground running and do well at Nats. We then practiced a little bit over 2 months. I'll be honest. It wasn't 24/7, sitting in calls, TTS, brainstorming decks for the next 3 months. It was about 2 months of getting games in, but also playing video games too, and bonding as a team and having fun as a team, but not necessarily always practicing as a team. Up until about a month before the event. A lot of things happened a month before the event. So some things that happened is you could tell, at least to me, the vibe in the server got there. It was, we're practicing. We're going to top cut Nationals. We're going to get as many of us to Worlds as we possibly can. Everyone was trying to play in TTS 4 or 5 times a week, right? Everyone was it wasn't, get back home, hop on the computer and play League together. It was get back home, hop on the computer, and let's test these frickin' decks, right? Let's see what's working for Nats and what isn't, right? We started doing that a lot more. We started talking in the deck ideas channel that we have. We started brewing a lot more. So a lot of that started about month and a half before the event actually was upon us. And in addition to that, we also started to get some new members. So as people may be aware by now, right? We back all the way to MGLA, right? Go back to a year, right? We had, it was mostly us from the King's Court Gaming crew that we were asked no longer to use the name of, and we made our own team from that. From that, we have made some amazing friends in the community that wanted to join our team, right? Those are being like Nate and Jacob Johnson and Travis TNT Tangeman. So like those are the three that kind of joined us at the beginning of the year. And it was very spectacular that they wanted to join us, that they felt like we were good practicing partners, that we were good training partners as a team. Because obviously, you know, we weren't the spectacle we are now, right? I can tell you right now that a lot of us a year and a half ago, right, even though we top cut some events, at least me personally, I had imposter syndrome of like, am I really good at this game yet, right? And the fact that they wanted to practice with us and wanted to share ideas with us kind of was the first step in like, oh no, we're good at this game. Like we have potential as a team, right? So this all to say that over the last month and a half towards getting to Nats, we also added a few new members to the server and eventually the team. So this includes, for example, Wub or Calvin Harrigal?
Yeah, Harrigal.
Okay, cool. I got the last name right. And Mitchell Chimino. So like Mitchell's been in the server for a while, but because he was contracted by Unfun Stuff, wasn't officially part of the team until Nats. So they started practicing with us. So basically everything's lining up to a month and a half. And while I've been yapping for a while, the event that I want to highlight the most, as Dean can attest to, is a week or two before Nationals. We flew a few members that we could, or the members that could get on flights out to Massachusetts to have a training weekend. And so we all got together at David's brand new house just to, you know, put him on blast a little bit and thank him for providing a space for us to do this. And we practiced our absolute asses off for an entire weekend. I can tell you the amount of information that we got from that weekend is directly responsible for our success at Nats. I can tell you right now that Corey's deck changed that weekend. I can tell you right now, I was considering Rodan that weekend. I was not considering that Rodan that weekend or after that weekend. And I can tell you right now that the Krista deck that did the absolute best on our team won the event and got two of us into top cuts was merely an idea right before that weekend. We brewed the deck, and Travis sent that deck to Danny and was like, put this together, please. Put the cards together because he couldn't bring them from where he was coming from. So we did. And that deck changed a lot that weekend. And without that weekend, there's a chance Travis is the winner. But it is a much less chance because he doesn't have that Krista deck. Because that Krista deck is beautiful, amazing, and fits his playstyle so well.
And the power level of it.
So this all to say, yeah, exactly. Like, who thought Krista was S tier? We didn't until we built it, right?
Yeah.
So basically, for the last 3 months, it was like a month and a half to 2 months of, we can practice whenever, and a month of grind. And that grind, I can tell you right now, I am incredibly proud of the conversations I had with people and the amount that we got better leading up to Nats.
Yeah. Yeah, like, there was a lot. I'm going to nitpick some stuff where, like, yes,
sure.
we've...
I'm a yapper.
No, you're good. I asked you for 3 months. You have to tell the whole story. So, like, there's definitely times where we are not testing and more so playing whatever silly little game, right? Usually it's League, but sometimes it's, like Path of Exile and some people are playing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's some roguelikes people have been playing too, right? But yeah, like that sort of camaraderie that we get just by hanging out, there is a huge value to that, where we're not strictly business, like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I can tell you that there are conversations I had over this weekend about that have struck me to the core and made me think about, like, what is the point to a team, right? Like, what is a team in Universus? What is the point to traveling to these events wearing the same jersey, other than to wear the same jersey and have the same name? And I think I'll be honest, I don't really care what the point to a team is for any other team, but I can tell you for our team, it is the fact that we are friends. It is the fact that we want to play our shared interests together, that we want to do well together, that we want to improve together, and that we want to be friends. And I'll be honest, I don't want to be part of any other team. So I know that I was partially the one coming to Dean for the idea of my video, right? but after this weekend, there's not much I want to do other than to gush and be mushy about how good my friends are at this damn game and how awesome they are as friends. But I'll try to keep it to a minimum for this video and try to keep it more broad.
Yeah, and don't worry. I was talking to Danny about it already. Like, we're gonna gush, okay? Like, MGLA is kind of nice, okay?
Dude, we're nice with it. It's crazy.
Yeah. And then, just kind of like, also building on what you said about we're not just, it's not just the jerseys at the event, right? That's sort of, It's something I wanted to mention, at least from Atlanta, was, it is nice that we all have the same jersey because it's sort of the easiest way to find people that you're friends with at an event. You have the bright colors of the jersey or the unique colors of the jersey signaling it. Mm-hmm. I unfortunately didn't get to go to Nats, but I'm kind of veering into that part. What did the Swiss rounds of the event sort of look like? What were the vibes of the team as you guys would, you'd end your rounds either early or, right when it was called, and you'd see each other going through the venue? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, so I think to really understand what it's like to go to an event and be part of the MGLA, right? To be a Metagame Liberation Army person, soldier, I don't know, what are we? I don't know. It's irrelevant. But to be part of the team, right? And to understand what that's like, the first thing you have to realize is that not all of us enjoy playing hyper competitive events the same amount. Yet the amount of value that everyone produces to the team is somehow still roughly the same. To shout out an example, right? We have Danny Machado, who is part of the team, but you might not recognize his name because he is kind of a behind the scenes person who helps us a lot with ideas. Like he is actually contributing to a lot of the ideas we have for these decks. He's contributing to like going to events and being essentially like almost emotional and moral support, right? And so the vibe is very unique in that usually when we are done with our rounds, we go kind of like converse with Danny because we always have at least one person we can converse with. So at Nats specifically, we basically had a table constantly carved out that was the MGLA table that whoever wanted to could go back to that table, round report, hang out, and just goof off, and to de-stress before the next round, to get anything they need to off their chest, to have somewhere to put their stuff, to decompress, right? So that's a big part of the MGLA experience for nationals and for these big events. But like, it's not just unique to that space, to having someone who can hold the stuff and who can be the central area that you go to. It's also just like we would constantly be looking out for each other. I know every time I ended my rounds, I would look around the room. I'd see, all right, which of my peeps are like in games, which ones are done. If I saw someone done that was standing up, I'd go, hey, how'd you do? And a thing that I don't know if it's unique to us, I don't know if like how we develop this, but the go-to is the thumbs up or thumbs down. They'll like, so so we always get quick round reports like that, and we're always with each other. We're always like, we see a thumbs down, we go, that sucks, you got the next one, do you need anything, right? We see the thumbs up, we go, damn, you're nice with it, like you are there. He's nice.
We see the thumbs up and we're like, expected, of course.
Exactly. Light work,
yep,
right?
Yep. No reaction.
So exactly, light work, no reaction. So that kind of camaraderie, I don't know. It is so easy to get through the rounds. I started the day with a round 1 loss, which, given my track record for mental, as much as I've tried to improve my mental over, the course of my adult life to this point, like a round 1 loss can kind of be doomer for me. And it just wasn't. I kind of coped with some circumstances that I was dealing with, of like excuses I could make for why the round didn't go well and why I lost it. And I also just like knew I could go talk to my friends and be like, well, it was also my worst matchup. Also this excuse, also this excuse.
Yeah, the sun
Instead
was
of
in
going,
your eyes.
hey, stop making excuses, they'd go, you're right, you got it. You would have had it, right? Sorry if I cut you off there.
No, you're good. I was just getting a little joke in. But I called Danny my rock. I like to think of him as that at any of these events where like, that's him. I know I can find him, even if everyone's still in their round. Like, I know I can find Danny. And it's not just Danny, right? As you were saying, anytime we're at these events, seeing one of our friends in their jersey and just like checking in, talking about what happened, you know. And yeah, the thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah, I mean, like one of our... Yeah, exactly. One of our pseudo rocks this time, right, was David, because David wasn't participating in the event because he knows he doesn't have the time to put into this game competitively. So instead, he we loaned him out to Rochester. You know, we had him on loan to Sean, right? But he was helping Sean out with the vending, right? So I'm pretty sure most of us did, but I know for myself at least that I at least every 2 or 3 rounds I would pop over to the vendor hall that they had there, where the 3 vendors for UVS were, including Rochester, and be like, "Hey, what's up? Hey, here's my round. Here's how my rounds are going." Sorry, flipping my words there.
Okay.
And like, how was your day so far? You know, are you doing good? You know, and of course he was much more interested in how we were doing and wanted round reports on everyone. But you know, just being able to have that camaraderie, being able to have that person to talk to, is so important, because otherwise, like, what are you doing there just waiting, 15, 30 minutes for the next one, you know?
Yeah.
And it's really easy, especially if you do that after a loss, to just, like, doom after it, right? And I can tell you right now that I did not, like, tilt or doom about any of my lost rounds this time because, A, I made excuses to my friends so that I could just, like, it wasn't really my fault, you know? Or I did own up to my mistakes, and no matter what I gave my friends, they were like, yeah, you're right. You got the next one. You know, they were our rocks, and I truly hope I provided that to others. You know,
Yeah.
But other than that, the camaraderie between rounds is like the main thing.
Yeah, because
for the team.
Yeah, like I saw someone say this recently, so it's in my head. Just the idea that for card games, it's not about the competition; it's about the shared experience and the community. And yeah, like I can't think of a better way to amplify that shared experience and community experience than being on a team with people, and like-minded people, you know?
Yeah, it definitely does amplify it. And exactly. I do have to say though, while we're talking about team stuff, specifically during Swiss rounds, I don't know what is wrong with my voice today. It is not all roses, unfortunately. One thing you do have to deal with as a team, but I can promise you that everyone on our team dealt with it like champs, which is the utmost importance, right? As you do have to deal with a bit of team killing. I can tell you right now that about 3 or 4 rounds in, it was not all roses for the MGLA crew. There was a bit of turmoil as by round 3, our teammate Mac had been paired into 2 different teammates, winning one of those matches, losing the other one, which is, of course, is brutal. And my own personal experience, I got paired into our teammate and friend, Matt, who, unfortunately, I did get the win over. I did get to do great with that win by getting all the way to top cuts, but it never feels good winning over your teammates. So it's something you have to deal with, and something that we have to think about more as a team, because we are getting quite big at the events. We had 20 strong this time, like 20 whole people that we could consider under our umbrella. Some of them were people who go to events less, so we won't always have that. But some of them are people who are here for the long haul and will be at a lot of events next year. So we will have a lot of representation, which is very cool. But that team killing does suck a little bit, but we're always able to bounce back.
I kind of want to reframe the team killing, at least in that, obviously it sucks, but the game either ends in a player winning, tying, or losing, right? And so obviously you're happy if you win, but if you lose, you at least know your teammate has won and their record continues to be good. And depending on the state of the tournament, I think a tie can be like, I'm happy about that, but at the very least, both you and your teammate have gotten a single point, and no one's walked away with 0. Right? I'm trying to,
there are certain points when you do ID, right? Like, there are actual points where it's like, before you, so like, as everyone might know, if you get to the last 2 rounds undefeated, you should just be IDing the rest of your rounds because you were guaranteed in. There's an argument that like you're at round like 6 or 7 of a 9-round event. You should probably ID with your teammate, right? Because like it makes it where you have to go one extra round before you get the guaranteed ID, but like you and your teammate at that point are both much more likely to make it in if you were both undefeated already. Yeah. We didn't have any situations like that. All of our situations were X1 and X2 where you just are not allowed to tie at all. But I do agree with you that from the loser's perspective, it is nice to know that like your teammate is gonna do something with it, right? Your teammate is gonna like make something of it, right?
Yes, very My Hero fashion.
I
was gonna say they pass on the torch,
Exactly. I have always said, in reference to getting paired into your friends, in reference to like team killing, right, that I truly think I feel worse on the winning end because I don't want to be the reason that they got a loss on their record, but like someone has to win, someone has to lose, and I know that they are happy that I won, and that they know I will do well, and like that's good for me.
Yeah, exactly. But as we're on the topic of these experiences in the tournament, kind of want to pivot to how the team did in the main event.
Yeah, of course. So we have a lot of reasons to be proud as a team, and I have a lot of reasons I am proud of our team. The first reason is that around, I think it was at the end of the day 1, so Friday, they got us together to do team pictures. And we had seen some teams do some pictures, but I was, being one of the people who does take charge as part of the team, right? We don't really like, because we're all friends anyways, we don't have like a strong structure, but like usually if something needs to be done, it does fall on me, or if someone needs to be communicated for something related to the team, it's like me, Frank, or Danny, right? So involved in that is like I was running around to get all of our teammates, including David, who was in the vendor hall, no less, right? So I was trying to get everyone to get ready for this picture. And I walk into the main area, the main event hall. And they were stacking all the teams in a corner to take the pictures. And I look to my right and forward. And I see a sea of black and red. And I kid you not, it was a sea. There was barely enough space in the picture frame. There was barely enough space in that corner for all of our big, strong boys and girls that are part of our team. And the amount of pride in that, we already succeeded. We were the most represented team in every sense of the word. We were most represented team in Swiss. We were the most represented team in Top Cuts, and we were the most represented team in people who have absolutely amazing mentals and were nothing but nice to everyone else around them. And I can't express the amount of pride I have for that. As far as the main event, though, getting to that, I don't, unfortunately, know the numbers on top 32. I should. I'm a terrible team member. It is what it is. But I can tell you right now the numbers on top 16 are that 6 of us made top 16. I am actually just going to pull it up. So live here, because it shouldn't be hard to get to. But I can tell you that these are final standings for the top 16, so not just what they got in Swiss. But we had ended up with people in 15th, 13th, 9th, 4th, 2nd, and 1st. So those are not Swiss standings. Those are final standings. But that is 6 people. It was Jacob Johnson, Nathan DeWalt, Justin Martin, me, Mitchell Chimino, exactly, and sorry, you lost my train of thought. How could you? Corey Nelson. Corey Nelson and Travis Tangerman, who of course won the event, and no other team was nearly represented. The only other represented team at all was Let's Talk UVS, and they only had 1 member there. And I don't personally think it's necessarily a huge competition between teams, but if it was, we won. We won. That's all I gotta say is we won. Past that, I can tell you right now that in Swiss standings alone. Our next, or just to shout out some of the standings, we ended up having people, as far as like top half of Swiss, we ended up having people all the way from 144 to 124 to 111, 90th, 68th, and 42nd. And of course, we had some members who didn't perform quite that well, including one member who chose to drop because his cards were unfortunately very warped. And he did not want to get called a cheater because he is genuinely concerned about that. So instead of doing anything to be able to fix it, because you don't want to binge your cards too much at that point, he opted to drop, which is fine, and I respected him for that.
Very
so he probably
admirable.
is like our lowest placing member, but it's like someone who dropped. So it's not even someone who like kept going. Like he dropped at like 1-1, so it's like it doesn't even count, right?
Yeah.
But that was just to shout out some of our placings. But no matter the placings themselves, no matter the records themselves, I'm incredibly proud of how everyone did and how everyone handled themselves, because a lot of people worked really hard on our team specifically to top cut. And this event was hard. This event was no cakewalk, right?
Yeah.
This is one of the hardest metas to play, in my opinion. There's a lot of variance that is really harsh on the mind when I'm not saying, do not misconstrue my words that like Godzilla takes no skill or like City Rampage decks take no skill. But it is really hard mentally to have someone playing Godzilla go City Rampage, Determined Advance, Gigantification Swing, Titan Cliff, and have that be how you lost a game on turn 2 with 3 foundations.
Yeah.
Obviously, they saw the line that they had to take, and they won the game, and they are fully deserving of that. But as the opposite of that, we all know how that feels to like have that done to us, and we know how it feels to do it to other people. So, in my opinion, this is one of the hardest metas to play mentally, and no one on our team was unbecoming of the team. No one on our team was like. Everyone on our team handled it so incredibly well, and I'm very proud of that. And everyone had like very respectable records. Most everyone was like X3, which is like one round away from top cuts, which is like very, very close, right?
Mm-hmm.
I cannot stress enough that like we are not just like a team of 1 or 2 people who like make top cuts and then like 18 other nobodies, right? We are a team of 20 people who at any given tournament can make top cuts, and that's the important thing, right?
Yeah, at least for the competition. Would you say that scratch that, sorry. Let me sort of rephrase a little bit back to the main event.
Sure.
So with the I'm fried. I'm sorry. It's late. I am stumbling over my words.
It is very late for us.
Yeah.
But we are all good.
Yeah, we are doing just fine. Yeah, I think it'd be better if. Do you know anything about some of the side events that ran with how people placed? Because I believe there was a.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So you completely made me forget about side events entirely. Because we also had very good placements at side events. I know Jacob Johnson was like 1 round away from winning Retro. And our teammate, Wub, our new teammate, Calvin, won Retro with his Devil Jin deck, which is very cool because I don't know if any of you have met Wub before, but Wub has not been playing this game. Is not like an old head who's been playing ever since for like the last 5-10 years. Wub started playing later than I actually, and around, I think it was MHA set 4, I think. It was basically like the end of like year 2 of MHA, right?
Mm-hmm.
And despite that, Wub has like taken to Retro, and like you talk to Wub about Retro, and he'll go, "I'm not the Retro guy. I don't know these cards." But like no one builds Retro decks like him, and no one builds decks like him. Period. But like no one builds Retro specifically like him. So the things and lines that he sees in those cards is just spectacular, and it's awesome to watch him do that. Because like it's not like someone else is building these Retro decks for him. He's really self-made on it, and it's really impressive to have won the National Rochester Retro event. And hopefully he does well in the main event of Worlds and doesn't get an opportunity to play in Retro at Worlds. But if he doesn't do as well as he wants and does get a chance to play at Retro and Worlds, I expect a repeat championship. There is no competition. There's no way, right? In all reality, we already know that someone on our team who was unfortunately unable to make it to Nats in Frank is the reigning Atlanta Retro champion. So there is going to be a competition. It just might be another MGLA finals like it was for Nationals.
Yeah. Yeah. And I believe Spencer did. I think he won or 3-0'd the Yu Yu Hakusho side event.
Yes. Yes, Spencer also 3-0'd the Yu Yu Hakusho's Spotlight event, which is very cool because like no one's playing in that format, so it's a really unsolved format. And I'm also very proud of him because I built the deck that he took because I wanted to play Suzaku really bad. So he ended up taking that, and without even knowing necessarily all the cards, like I tried to give him the rundown of like, here's the like, you know, the basic idea. Like you're gonna gauge, you're gonna like discard your characters, play Prism Storm Torment all the way at the end. But like he really figured the deck out on his own and played that deck perfectly, and ended up 3-0ing the event, which is awesome. And then our final side event that I think was significant happens to be a repeat with Wub also winning the teams event. So all in all, we not only took the national event, but we took 3 side events, that being teams, retro, and of course the one that I am most proud of, which is the Yu Yu Hakusho Spotlight event, because I love seeing Spencer do well, and it was also my deck. So I'm glad to know that apparently I build Yu Yu Hakusho correctly. If there's ever another Yu Yu Hakusho event, but maybe I will just have Spencer drive that deck. Yeah, true. Maybe I'll just have Spencer drive the deck because he clearly knew what he was doing. So,
and so you know, we're kind of coming to the end on it. We've talked about the main event, we've talked about the side events, we've talked about the prep all the way up. You know, it's kind of what about the future, right? What are the team's plans for Worlds? I'm at least going to say that I'm not going, but
so the team's plans for Worlds is let's go back 2 weeks pre-nets. We were pretty bummed because most of us were not going to make it to Worlds. Most of us, because of personal things, because Worlds is just a hard event to get to when it's 2 weeks after Nats, and we're all spending a lot of money to get to Nationals. I am, to use my favorite word as of the last 3 days apparently, very proud to say that we are going to have approximately, if my count is right, about 10 of us at Worlds, minimum. There will be, because there are some people that we already knew were definitely going to Worlds no matter what, and I believe it's going to be about 10 of us there strong, because we have pulled some money together. We've like deal shopped on hotels last second, on flights, and we're getting as many of us to Worlds. So I'm not going to promise you on the number at all, but I can tell you right now that the MGLA will be at Worlds. There will be a showing, and more specifically, every LCQ spot that is up for grabs, there's going to be one going to every MGLA member. It's
a guarantee.
If that is my dying
certified.
Words,
it's going to happen.
If everyone, exactly, it's certified. If everyone but me gets one, I will have succeeded because I've helped everyone else get what they needed deck wise, what they needed training wise, what they needed support wise to get to through the LCQ into Worlds. Like I know all of my teammates can. And for that, what that means, dear viewer, what that means is that Worlds will, just like the last 2 events, be the mostly represented by the MGLA above all other teams. And for that will be my pride and joy for the entirety of Worlds. And if it's not, which is like the smallest if, it's like 5%. But if it's not,
let me cut you off.
We'll be cheering on.
Oh,
I do want to say we'll be cheering. It was going to be positive. We'll be cheering on. We'll be cheering on those of our teammates who are already in there. Those being so far Mitchell Chimino, Wub, Travis, Corey, and I believe Nathan DeWalt, who hasn't officially gotten his invite as of the recording of this video, but should be getting an invite as he is officially 9th in Nationals. So we'll be cheering them on. And even if we aren't the most represented, which we're going to be, let's be real. We're going to be the most represented at Worlds. It's just how it's going to be. We will definitely be the loudest and the hypest at Worlds above all else.
Yeah. You can always count on us yelling our heads off when somebody does well. But
exactly. You can always count on us being there for our teammates.
Yeah. And then I have one last question. We got to be a little quick on this one. We've talked a lot about what just happened, but I want to rewind just a little bit longer back to the beginning of the season, right? February 2024. the last Worlds just happened. You know, we're in a new season. You know, at that point in time, did you imagine what did you imagine the team's year would look like back then? Do you think you could have expected all this?
Yeah. Yeah. So this team has been a long time coming. Officially, we've been playing the game since 2022, right? We started as King's Court Gaming. We became MGLA, and we started out as a group of friends. We started out as a group of friends with a passion for this game, a passion to get better, and a passion to play together and go to events. While we cannot always get all of us to events, we always try and make sure that we're doing everything we can for each other to make those that can get to events the most successful they can be. I can tell you right now, when we started out the year, right? Excuse me. I knew things were going to start changing, rewinding even slightly more to last year's Nationals. Because at last year's Nationals, we had an Airbnb. And we invited some very cool people back to our Airbnb after Nationals because we wanted to hang out with them. And those people, two that are public facing that you know of, there are others that are part of our team in the background, but I won't drag them into the public because they haven't been to as many events, and I don't know if they want to be. But two of those people are Constantine Dean Andriotis and Travis TNT Tangeman. And that is the start of our group growing beyond Massachusetts. I'm incredibly happy that those two individuals, among others, thought that we were cool people to hang out with. And when I, at that event at the Airbnb, decided to be like, hey, do you all want to join our Discord and start testing with us? That both of them said yes. Not only that, but fast forward to Worlds. Worlds was unfortunately the last event that Travis ever did as PPG. Some things fell through with PPG as his sponsor. But I don't think he was as upset about it because he knew we had his back because by then we were already great friends, him and the rest of the team. And we were able to provide and be his next, sponsor or team. And I'm sure Travis hopefully will find an opportunity to say it. But one thing that he has said is that he's very glad that he is on a team that he is overwhelmingly joyed to be part of. That's not to say he didn't enjoy any of his other teams. But he very much appreciated us for being his next team when, because at PPG, unfortunately, there weren't many teammates. It was him and I think one other person played UVS every once in a while. So I am very glad that we were able to provide that for him. I'm very glad that we did everything. And from there, I thought it was over. I thought, well, we've got two new members and I'm very happy with that. And then we started talking to Nathan DeWalt and Jacob Johnson. I've known both of them since the first Worlds, right? And in those conversations, and as they met more of our teammates, they also decided, hey, we want to be part of the team. We want to practice with you guys. We want to share ideas, right? We want to train, and they did. And I thought we were done growing there. And then we met Mitchell Chimino, and we got to have more conversations with Mitchell. And Mitchell joined the server, even though he couldn't officially join the team until Unfun Stuff contract ended. And then I thought we were done growing. And you'll see the pattern. But then Wub joined the team. Wub joined the server. Wait, there's more. And while I am not going to promise that we're going to continue to have more members, right? Because we are, at the end of the day, a group of friends. We have no interest in being a team that's constantly growing and a team that is solely focused on competitive success. We want to be a group of friends that enjoy each other's company, right? Mm-hmm. But I can tell you that it is clear that our group is doing something right. And that there are people who want to be part of our group. So I am glad to say that at the beginning of the season, when you asked the question, right, and even going slightly backwards to Nats, I could not possibly tell you what I expected for the team. I could maybe tell you what I expected for myself. And what I expected for myself is we knew at the time that there's going to be a lot less regionals. So I knew I would go to every single regional and try to get to Worlds on points. That did not go as I planned. I did go to every regional. I didn't always perform as well as I wanted. I am glad that I performed at the last two events of this year exactly how I wanted to. But I can tell you that I didn't know what to expect for the team. And while I still don't know what to expect for the team next year, I know it's going to be great. And I did not have that last year. And I'm overjoyed that I know that our team is going to be successful and prosper next year if it's the last thing we do.
Yeah. Very well said, Justin. Got to start
I
wrapping up
do also
here.
have to addendum one thing. Sorry, I have to addendum one thing. We also had 2 new members in Brody and Rachel. It's just they were local members, so they were outside of my mind. But they are also very important to us and very cool new members that we have as well.
Yes. Can't forget anybody. But yeah, so wrapping up, sort of shouting out the YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. We have the website where you can catch some written content, some player profiles on us. Obviously, we have
All of those to be uploaded soon.
Yes. Also, our content creators like Travis and Brody, and Wub and Mitch. For next week's, or not even next week's, there's no guarantee on who's next on the recap. But we are trying to pump these out as fast as we can, just so that we get them out before Worlds.
I don't even think they're going to be weekly, right?
Yeah, no, we're just we got like 15 days before Worlds, so we're pumping this shit out. And yeah, it's time to say goodbye. Until next time.
Thank you. See ya.